So we have another truly gloomy day in the beginning of October with no reason, because this is all part of the generated storm, the Helena storm, and there are more to come. Now, I would like some sunshine today, even though I know I'm going to be working at my computer. I want to be able to go out and have my vitamin D. I want it for everybody too. So let's just see if I can call in and talk to some of the beings who will be able to move the clouds and let through the sun. That's here in England, in the southwest. You can imagine the southwest would be subject to the remnant ripples of that nonsensical, horrific storm we've just had in the USA. So here we are. I've always loved rushing past you, air. The feel of moving in you has always been a thrill. I have much of you in my chart. And now I know we have been charting each other. I've looked up to the heavens and seen you whisk away the clouds sometimes on high jet streams. I know how powerful and delicate you operate. I would like the clouds to be removed today in patches all over the southwest. Literally, as soon as I'd finished, I could see the light had changed. I went outside to see the break in the clouds, and now the sun is full on shining bright. Only 10 minutes later, oh boy, are they happy to oblige that the sun may come through. The sun is still really hot. People are being bemused into an idea of autumn which is not even true. It's not even real. Just like we had in the summer. Our true climate is far nicer than we are being allowed to receive. I would encourage you to play, frolic, gamble. Push away the clouds. Move in with your flurries of energy. Bite away at the cotton candy, at the edges. Disperse, swim through them with your energy, dispersing the clouds. We know where they were created from. Two things: the spraying of the drones, the small drones used to spray and seed and create cloud cover, and the remnant of the storm from the west. Guide me to make some sound which will encourage you, which will give you some extra energy to just move and shake and disperse the cloud cover and reveal our sunshine to come through and bathe us once more. The overtones make these two sounds at the same time, with the fourth in between, the interval of a fourth, which is like gathering space in between the two sounds. It is similar to how the harp works, but it is, of course, the equal and opposite. sounds that open up the middle of the head. Different sounds, different types of overtone opening up the middle of the head, which means that the pineal gland is able to be more active and stimulated through the frequency vibration. So the thought energy is slightly different when it's stimulated this way, with the pulsing vibration of the sound pushing against it. I just have to tell you guys how I came to do this right now. It's because of the storm and the fury at it and knowing the urgency, but backwards in time, just 2 months ago, when travelling to my daughter, I decided to buy a book. I rarely buy books. I bought the book, one of the Peter Moon series, and it was talking about what actually happened during World War II with Japan and the USA. But the thing was about the huge dirigibles which were flown on the high energy currents up in the stratosphere, and how the Japanese mapped it, because the Japanese have always had a better understanding of the intrinsic nature of human and nature spirits. It's in their culture. I used to do Buto dancing when I was in Berlin. As a dancer, I was in this company and we were doing Buto dancing, African dancing too, and contemporary. But the Buto is about you are a tree, you are the wind, you are the bird. They understood that deeply in the culture, and they understood also what Roosevelt was trying to do to them. And it was all about money and power, but mostly about money. And so they set up their own biological engineering systems to make weapons to threaten the US, to tell them to back off. They never deposited those biological weapons. They just floated them over on huge, huge vessels made of nothing other than rubber-coated silk, that having mapped the high currents in the higher ionosphere, lower stratosphere, they were able to understand how to move such enormous packages across from Japan all the way to certain precise locations in the USA, using this mapping and very simple steering. These huge ships, which were mistaken to be the flying saucers of Rosalind. Even the small little Japanese pilots were considered to be made into the small greys, but they were actually just the small pilots. There is a subpopulation of Japan who are very, very small, and they were using those people as the pilots of these dirigibles. So I read that. It was about air currents, and it made me think in a way I hadn't thought before about the air currents. And now here we are, dealing with horrendously populated storms made by a series of pieces of equipment in and on and above the ocean, which are pulsing out signals into a boron and other heavy metal laden sky, creating seeding and forming and pulsing the winds and the clouds into these false hurricanes, driving them in on land and causing death, chaos and mayhem. So we now need to understand and learn and reconfigure our relationship to the natural elements in order to counteract this. We need to be part of this journey. It is turning into a battle for the skies, for everything. And we are in the very crux time. So it's good that you can get to hear this and use it, be inspired, Some of these sounds will sound very peculiar. They've existed for a long time in the Tibetan archaeology of voice, all of the overtones, but the way that they're coming through me is not the traditional way. And mixed with the air and the wind conversation, it is this interesting panoply of sounds. I want you to find your own. Just dare it, just do it. Do it in the quiet of your own home, it's fine. But start to engage. Let's work with our nature kingdom. We have been put off it, oh my goodness, so skillfully, by those who said that it was anti-God. I mean, how can you say that? They are created elements of our world, of our realm, absolutely of God. God is almighty. God created everything. Even that which is now trying to go against God, God created. God is just the origin point of creation. So it's the most absurd argument. Time to throw that one out. The devas, the elementals, the nature spirits, whatever you want to call them. In many cultures, they were called the little gods. Not the Zeuses and those type characters. They were just Anunnaki nuts. No, but the elementals, they have their own character and they would talk with people. The jinn, they're called in some cultures. The Middle East and Indonesia, they're called jinn. But talk with them, relate with them. They are your brethren too on this planet, in this realm. And it is time to include them in our awareness and in our work. In this case, they may help us truly. We do not want another Hélène. Just think of all those thousands of misplaced, displaced people. How are they going to vote? It's not just about the vote, of course, but it is hugely. Chaos, mayhem, disturbance. So much of it. And let us work against it. See if there are any more sounds wishing to come through before I leave this session. You can hear that very lightly expressed sound is moderated by my heartbeat. You can hear it, can't you? Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And the harp technology puts out a beat too, but it's a different kind of one. It's its digital zeros and ones. It's completely regular. And that's what creates the ripples. We can create the opposite of that and turn this into a neutral zone. Higher notes travel faster, and you'll have different air pressures. Different air pressures carry sound waves in different ways. That's important to realize. In warm, the molecules are far wider dispersed. All the molecules in the air, the gases and the water molecules particularly, they are dispersed wider because everything expands in the heat. And so sound will travel differently to the cold. That's why you have this beautiful hush on snow days. So the high sounds, if you can create that, is very relaxed. This is not singing for a choir or a cathedral. This is very, very relaxed. Just let a note float through. Pulsed by the heart, because you can't help it. Your heart is pulsing away as you're holding the muscle to let the sound just float out. And the high notes travel further and faster. So you can do good things with that. You're just putting a piece of energy into the atmosphere. That's what sound is. You're putting a piece of energy and you're giving that to the elementals, which are not physical, but they work through touching the physical molecules. That's their physicalization. of air and of water. So it's just like we are made up of billions of cells with all kinds of different molecules and combinations, their own communities within our body. The same with the elementals in the sky, of the water and the air. They are collections of gases. They are collections, both water and air, different collections. And they form into, just like us, it's not even that they form into, the elements take the form, just like we do. Our spirit takes the form of a human and grows it. Same with the elementals. And we're giving them through sound some energy, like little weapons, as it were, little darts. Imagine like Poseidon's arrows of lightning, little pieces of energy to be used to hold back and redirect the air currents so that they are softened, so that this barrage of artificial is softened, diminished, dampened. And throughout the day I will do some more of this, piece by piece. Keep adding, keep adding. We need to be on this case. Yesterday when I did my extraordinary whooshy sounds, which was cool, that created sunlight for a while, for a few hours. If we want to change these patterns, we need to be on the case now. For the next 30 days at least, very much on the case, and they'll be crazy afterwards too. So it's about staying active in this. All right, we've had enough of this weather. This is all created, we know it. So, Amma, I command my full spirit into the room with me right now, here and now. My full soul, every aspect of my past, present, future, parallel self. We are going to speak with the earth and with the elementals of the air to change this weather, to lift this pall, to shift this depression. This is created by humans, if we can call them that. On the count of 5, I will speak to Amma about this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amma, show me what we can do to change this weather, to shift it off, to shift the pressure, the frequency, the patterns of manipulation. I will allow the elementals to speak through me on the count of 5 to 0. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now. Pressure, pressure. Ask us to wave. I ask you to wave through the air. What can we do to wave through, to shift? I feel like you're being huddled together in a room. Can you start darting about? Can we give you some energy that you can start to mix up this and shift the clouds, shift the screening? Some people don't want us to see certain things. Can you whiz around? Can you start moving the clouds, moving the air, shifting higher and lower stratosphere? Move this layer of cloud. Show me, I'm going to make some sound. Guide me in the sounds that I'm creating. Wow. Never made any of those sounds before. That's the air spirits moving around, shifting. We'll see what happens in an hour and a half.